Hi there, I'm Brian Smith, and I help people that have a fear of death or people who have been through a grief event to kind of get back on track, to get over that fear of death and to get back on track after you've had a grief event to find joy and purpose in your life again. That's my mission in life right now. As someone who's suffered from an extreme fear of death, I would call it actually a phobia. Thanatophobia is the technical term for it. I know a lot about feeling this suffering. What I want to do today is I want to talk about when things get hard. And this was really prompted by the passing of a guy named Twitch a few days ago. And Twitch actually passed at his own hands. He took his life. And it prompted a lot of conversation about what do we really know about what someone else is going through, whether that person is a celebrity or a personal friend, about how life might look easy to some of us from outside and how we cope through the difficulties of life. I want to say, first of all, we never really know what's going on in someone else's life, whether that's someone who's a close personal friend or even someone living in our own house. We all kind of wear masks. We do things. We have coping mechanisms. When we look at celebrities like Twitch, we think that we know them. We see them happy. We see them dancing in videos. We see them smiling. I remember Twitch from years ago on So You Think You Could Dance. Always loved the guy. Always such an upbeat guy, such a happy-go-lucky guy. I understand that's kind of the way he was on Instagram. I don't do Instagram that much, so I didn't really follow him there. But that's the way he came across. Thing is, again, we don't really know what's going on in someone else's head. And when we look at other people, often we will project onto them that their life must be easy. And we all know that we go through internal struggles ourselves. We all, no matter what situation we're in, whether it looks like we have a great job or a great spouse or whatever, we all struggle in life. But we look at other people, we think, well, they don't really struggle. And look at how happy they are. And look how they've got it made. I hear people saying, someone like him had so much to live for, as if someone else doesn't have as much to live for. But again, he was struggling inside. And people talk about the videos he made of him dancing and stuff. And I saw some of those videos after he passed. Some recorded just like 24 hours before he passed. But I also saw videos in that same time frame where he talked about social injustice and the things that were happening to black men. I know that was weighing very heavily on him as well. Don't pretend to know what the reason was why he decided to take his life, but he did. And we need to understand that we all carry burdens, that this world is hard. And I think even especially for sensitive types, to be well adjusted to a world that we live in, a world with poverty and racism and all the other things that go on in the world is not necessarily a great thing to say that I'm going to take all this in stride. I think it weighs on a lot of people and it makes a lot of us unhappy. And as we're going into this time of year, I'm recording this on December 21st, the winter solstice. It's a very difficult time for us for lots of reasons. It's literally dark where I am. I live in Ohio in the northern hemisphere, and it's dark and it's gray and it's cold and there's not much sun. So that's the reason actually why we have the holidays this time of year to try to bring some light into our lives. But then people feel like they have to be light because it's supposed to be a joyous time of year. And if you're not feeling joyous, people feel pressure to feel joy and they feel like there must be something wrong with me because I'm not feeling joyous at this time of year. And so people struggle because they're sensitive and the world is crazy. People struggle because we're living we're right now, this particular season can be tough for some of us. So we're all struggling in our own ways. So what I like to do is try to offer people hope, different ways to cope with the things that we go through, to cope with the difficulties that we go through. And what I want to do in this video is talk about there are four daily practices that I do on a daily basis, of course, to kind of get through. And I discover these practices over trial and error over several years. One is a gratitude practice, and that's every day I think about things that I'm grateful for, no matter what it might be something small. It might be going out to dinner. It might be the fact that I have heat in my house or that I've got air conditioning in the summertime. So I try to do that. I try to exercise every day. I try to get the proper amount of sleep. So those are two sides of the same coin, making sure that I'm active with my body on the one hand, but also making sure that I get enough rest. And again, especially this time of year, I think our bodies naturally want to slow down and get rest. So I encourage people to go with those natural rhythms. The third thing is meditation or mindfulness. turning within and tapping into that internal resource that we all have. It's interesting in life, we are somewhat alone, no matter how many people you're surrounded by. No one knows what's going on really in your inner world. But on the other hand, we have help. We have guides that help us, I believe. We have spirit guides. We have loved ones in spirit. We have our higher self. We have God or source, if you want to call it that. And by meditating and by using mindfulness and turning within, we can tap into those resources. And then the fourth thing is self care. And that's making sure that we do all the things we need to do to take care of ourselves, which includes the first three things I talk about and more. Making sure we're getting the proper amount of rest, making sure we're getting the proper amount of recreation. So I've written a short book that talks about the gems that I call them, the gratitude, exercise, mindfulness or meditation, and self care. And I like to offer that to you for free. So if you're interested in getting it, you just go to my website, which is grief, the number two growth.com, grief2growth.com/gems. It's free. All you have to do is sign up for my newsletter list and I'll send it to you for free. I really hope that helps some people, especially during this time of year. I think this is a time of year that we really need to be looking out for each other. We need to support each other to get through. And I want you to feel like, never feel like you're alone. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, there is help for you. There's a suicide prevention hotline. It's the number is 988. It's 24/7. So always reach out for help to that, to me, to anybody if you feel like you need help. Have a great day.